Hi everybody, this is Tasha once again, and I'm happy to be with you today. And for those who have subscribed, I'm grateful. And if you have not and you've been watching my videos, please do subscribe. And then another thing, if you watched my video, for me to be able to get back to your channel, at least leave a comment below, because I'm trying to use those comments to get to the people that are watching me. And another thing is, this week, possibly during this week, we'll be having a live session. We'll be going live, and you can give suggestions on things that we can cover, or maybe a few things that you'd love us to go and look into. Okay, we are going to look at a topic which is titled "Some people will require prayers to acquire certain things." Okay, I decided to look at this because there are instances where people feel bad, you feel discouraged because something that you wanted, somebody's getting it without any hassle, like really struggling, while you, on the other hand, it's like it has taken maybe years and it's still not there, and you're praying over it, and it's just, there's a way that things work. You might find that the person that you are thinking does not need prayers in that area, actually needs prayers in another area, and they've been waiting for God in that area. So it depends with I think levels, not just levels, but there's just a lot of things involved on why certain people have to pray over certain things and others don't have to. So we are going to look at 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 6, which is a story about Anna and Penina. And it happens that if you look at the whole story, it seems like Hannah was quite good, but it happens that she's not having the privilege of having children at that time, while Penina, on the other hand, she can have children, but also she brags about it. But it happens that the husband does not love her as in the same way he loves Hannah. So it clearly depicts that these people had different prayer requests. Anna was praying for a child, and she kept on praying and crying before God just so that God can give her a child. And it's different for everyone. While for Penina, maybe the prayer request was, "My husband does not love me. Why don't you help me?" You see, everyone has got something that they're dealing with, something that they're trying to bring before God. You might not have the same prayer request. You might think even the rich person might not be having anything to pray about, but there is always something that they will always need from God, because God has not made us in a way that we are self-sufficient, in a way that we are perfect in our own way. In that manner, nobody will need God if we are perfect, if we are self-sufficient and all that. That is why those things that people lack in different ways are the things that are supposed even to draw you back to your Creator, because He's the one who can be able to give them to you. Other things you can get them maybe on your own, but there's just that one certain thing, you cannot be able to reach it unless you call out to Him. Okay, going into this further, there's one thing that you need to know. We are unique, and God treats us differently according to the way we are. Like I might say that because in a family there are different kids, and I'm very sure if you're a parent who is very keen on your children and you want to bring out the best in them, you want to give them a lifestyle that will help them. You have studied their characters, you have studied how they react to certain things. It's like you know them, and you know how to deal with them when there is a problem or when they've done a mistake. So it seems like the way as human beings we have to handle different kids differently, that is the same way God has to handle each one of us differently, because we cannot be handled the same way. You might tell one child something in one way, this child might get it, but the other child might feel like maybe you don't love them, or maybe you're speaking out of anger. So it depends with each one of us. We are unique. So It seems like in each and every one of us, it happens that we go through different things, and all of us have the capacity to overcome. But God, because He knows that we are different in how we are, He ensures that whatever we face is something we can handle. It's not something that will lead you to destruction. It's not something that will outweigh you so much. He gives you something that you can be able to handle. So in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13, it tells us that God is faithful and He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. This clearly tells you that whatever you are going through, there is always the grace of God that He provides over your life during that period. Unless you are not keen on that, you might be feeling like things are just haywire, but there's always a grace for it. And it happens that God requires you to endure. There are certain things He's trying to build in you. So He's expecting you to endure certain things. And because you have to endure this, it means that at the end of it, you'll be having a solution. Now, it happens this way. There are two people who are going through the same thing or different. Let's just talk of the same thing. One person gives up on God. The other person actually just prays to God and asks God to release whatever they need and waits on God. And actually in the long run they get whatever they need. So these two people, there's one person who has failed the test. And if you fail the test, be assured that you will not move to the next level until you have gotten the lesson that is trying to teach you. What I mean by you not move to the next level, you might not have the same challenge, but there will be another challenge giving you the same kind of thing that you are going through. Not really the same in nature, but it might be in a different perspective, but it's the same thing you are going through because you've not mastered how to endure and how to be patient on God. And this is also a way that God is trying to show you that He treats us with equity, that we are all equal before Him. And if we are all equal before Him, it means that there is that poor person who does not have enough cash. So maybe the prayer is, God, just make sure I eat every day, like I have food. And that is what is important to them, and that is what they are trusting God on. And maybe they're trusting God on things like, God, give me school fees for my children, and that is what they need from God. But there's that rich person's school fees is not a problem. So you see, God cannot give you the problem of that rich person. Definitely, maybe his problem could be, I need bigger deals, or maybe they could be struggling with a certain kind of thing which even their money cannot give them. So it happens that if God takes that problem and gives it to this poor person, how is it going to help them? It's something beyond their reach, like they cannot even get there. But these school fees that they need, God knows that if they work strategically, possibility is high, 100% that they'll be able to raise it in the long run by His help. But this other person who is rich also knows that if I don't trust in God for this, there's a possibility it will not be easy. So I'll have to go back to God. That is why God is always trying to make you know that there will always be the poor among you, but ensure that you treat each one very well, because God sees you as equals. It doesn't depend on your level. It doesn't matter how much you have or what amount of money you have. It doesn't matter. In the long run, He looks at you and the rich person the same way. The information or the lesson that He wants all of you to learn is the same. It's only that this rich person, if you decide to make them feel like they need money for school fees, that is something they can even get from the bank as a loan, or maybe they can get from their friends. It's something that they can easily access, so that one they won't learn anything from it. So the second point is because of the glory of God. You might go through certain things and you wonder why, but it's because of the glory of God. God doesn't like it when somebody takes praises from, like, he does something and then somebody feels like I'm the one who did it, or I'm the one who was actually doing everything, yet the real truth is it's him who did it. So if that is important to God, that he does not want somebody else to take praises, that means God will ensure that he does this thing in a way that no man will take that glory. That is why you might find a person, the people around you know that you've been waiting on something from God, and they have watched you year in, year out, and they're seeing like, whoa, this person is getting much more frustrated. But it happens that when people think that you've lost totally, that's when God shows up. And when he shows up, these people are more inclined to feel like really God is there. If God can do this for this person, and we've seen this person trust God for this, and the fact that they've seen you struggle over the years, they've watched you lack a certain thing in your life, and they've watched you trust God for it until it actually came into manifestation, people will always give God glory for that, because they know they did not help you. They were not the one who helped you. They were not the one who brought that thing into being. It is God who did it, and he did it in his own way. So we have in John 11 where Lazarus died and he was buried already, and it happened that during all this process they were asking for Jesus. In fact, before even he died, they called out to him that your friend Lazarus is sick. So Jesus was supposed to come early, but he did not. So in your situation, you are expecting Jesus to show up early, but apparently he's not going to come at that time. Jesus waited until this man died. It means they were waiting for him on the day that he died. They waited for him the next day because they knew who Jesus was, and they knew that this is like no big deal to him. He can actually raise him. So it reached a point where they are seeing this thing is not going to happen because this person is, maybe the person has started rotting and all that. So they are feeling like, okay, where we've reached, it's like Jesus has not showed up and he has failed us, and that is all. So if Jesus showed up at that hour, when things are rotten, when things are not good, when things are at their worst state, what about your situation? You might be feeling like things have gone haywire, but I always advise myself, like, if things are really so bad, maybe I've not seen the worst of it. That could be the truth. I've not seen the worst of it yet. That is why maybe God has not shown up concerning the issue. And because I know he will show up, which I know because I asked him to show up for me, it gives you some sort of peace, such that whatever you are going through, you are trusting that because he's walking with you through it, you believe that in the long run he will show up. And one thing I need you to know is that he may show up, but in different forms. Now, if God does not do something the way you expected it to be done, that does not mean that God did not show up. He showed up, but in a way you are not expecting. Like, these people are expecting Lazarus to be healed before he died, but God did not show up in that form. He waited until he was dead. So it's in different ways. He will show up, yes, if you're keen enough to look at everything you are going through and you've gone through, and you see clearly what was happening and how God showed up, you'll be able to understand this. Because he will always show up. It's only that he wants you to have that trust in him. Just believe he will show up, even if you don't have anything proving to you that is going to happen. Okay, an example that I can give you is a case of somebody who has been trusting God for the right partner. You know, there's always that case where somebody is looking for the right person. The person you meet, you think might be the right person, they end up being maybe drunkards, or maybe drug addicts, or maybe they turn out to be even married. There are just a lot of things, or even they turn out to be like, you just don't like them. and you don't know why. So it happens that you've prayed, you have fasted, you have trusted God for this thing, but it's taking way too long. And there's that other person who you know very well, that you can even say, this person I know, they did not even pray that much. They were just even having fun all through, and they met with this person along the way, and they're having their wedding maybe next week, or they are already married, and you're looking at your life and you're wondering why. Those are the questions we ask ourselves. And it happens that God has just different ways of doing things. Somebody might get theirs easily, but there is that easy way that this person got it, and the wedding was done, and people are like, yeah, it's fine, yeah, they're married and all that. But when your turn will come, there's that story that you have, how long you've been waiting for this, and then God brings somebody who you feel like, really, this is the right person for me. And everybody also knows that this is a testimony, because this person has waited. Even if they look at how you've been praying, or maybe they just, even if they hear your story when you tell them, they know that really this is the doing of the Lord. It's not something that she just bumped into, or he just bumped into. It's the doing of the Lord. And because it's the doing of the Lord, it's marvelous. People are happy. People are feeling like, if God can actually do for this person this, and it has taken them this long, then actually my case can be handled. So don't put yourself in a way that you settle for less because you feel like it's late. I just have to do it this way. That is the mistake that most of us do. You are too much in a hurry. And when you are too much in a hurry, the devil always has the perfect plan in front of you that you can jump into. So the third point is, some of us, we do envy the unbelievers. And this happens to come into play because, I don't know, people just like to compare themselves with others. And that is not a good trait. Because everybody has their own process. Everybody has their own timings. You can't say that you're going to die at the same time. You are not born at the same time with this person. You are not doing everything at the same time. You are two different people who God has different plans for. And it cannot happen that you people can have the same kind of things, that the way God actually planned it. You cannot have everything, all of you at the same time. Maybe some of you do, but it happens that sometimes we do admire those people who do not know God. We look at them and we feel like, I've served God all this while, and it has not been easy. I've tried to pray concerning this issue, and you see this person who never serves God, who doesn't even want anything to do with God, and the thing that you're looking for, it seems like this person can access it, and you are getting frustrated. You're feeling like, why am I even serving God while all these are not happening in my life? First of all, serve God for the right reasons. Don't serve God for the things. In Psalms 37 verse 7, God tells us to wait patiently on Him and do not be envious of the evil or the wicked men when they prosper. This is a clear indication. You might be more of envious of those people who do not know God. Leave alone the people who know God. People who do not know God, and they are prospering, and they are prospering out of maybe greed, out of maybe doing things which are not right, and you see like they really have what they need. This is very wrong. You cannot live like that. In fact, if you read down the scripture, it tells you clearly, like, it will not be for too long. You might think that they'll be in that way all through, but things will change. Like each one of you, I know, if you look clearly, when you were growing up, there was that family that you used to know to be rich, and you were envious of them. You were feeling like, hey, these people are so rich, these people are better off than us. And it happens that you know some of them who right now they are not rich. The same people that you saw when you were young who are rich, but it happens apparently at this time things are not that well off with them. They're not that well off. In fact, you can see that you are better, you are doing better. So it happens that some people get things just easily, and because they get it easily, it's not easy to keep it. In fact, something that you got the wrong way will go without you even knowing. So don't be envious of them. Just trust that with God's timing things will work out. Do what you can at your level. If it's doing a kind of work that you're doing, do it, and do it well. And just find ways of being more innovative. Invest where you can. Just do things that you can do right now. Okay, the thing is, if you look at God clearly as a person, he is somebody who is kind, who is loving. He says that if he would not withhold his son from us, he gave us his son, what can we withhold from you? These other things are just things. And if he gave you his son, not your son, but his son, it means there's nothing he cannot give you. So you just know that it will take prayer for you to get what you need. And pray without murmuring, without ceasing, because sometimes you reach a point where you are not even now praying, you're just quiet. But even in your quietness, still communicate with God. Just talk to God. It reaches a point where you just talk to him. You tell him what you are feeling or what you are going through and how you need him to show up for you. He will show up in the long run. It only takes patience, and it only takes you enduring, because those are traits he wants you to learn. And in the long run you will be happy because he will give you what you need. And I would leave you with this. In most cases, why most people do not end up enduring up to the end, there is always that thing that you need. And there's this person who is your friend or somebody you know who has that thing that you are looking for. And you know that that is not an issue for them. They can easily get whatever they need around that area. And it happens that when you see this, it's even a way that the enemy uses to trap you, to get into the wrong things that will not leave you, that will not permit you to endure. So you need to be patient. Just be patient. In as much as you see this person like this person has what you need and you do not have it, wait for God, because this person also might be looking for what you have. There's something that you have that this person does not have. And this person could be also trusting God and going before God, kneeling and praying, because they also feel the same pain that you're also feeling, but it's in a different perspective. So know that everybody has got their own process. They've got their own pain that they're going through. They've got their something that they have to endure. It only takes you to understand that all these things, if it has a beginning, know that it has a ending. And the ending has to be good. It does not have to turn out to be bad because you are not patient, you are not praying, you are not trusting in God, or you gave up on God. Believe God and all shall be well. And lastly, please ensure that if you've watched my video, leave a comment. I love those comments and I always appreciate them, because that helps me to connect back with you. It helps me to get to know you, what you love doing, if you're a YouTuber like me. And it's a joy to know that I can connect with you. Unlike if you just watch and you move, I feel like I don't get the opportunity to come back to you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video.